Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're at. I'm Brittany Larson, and there's Jenna Smith. Hey, Jenna.
Hi.
Gee, where am I? Are you not seeing me at all?
I can see you.
Huh. I just see you on the screen, but that's totally cool because it's all about you anyway. I'll just put me up for a minute so you guys know I'm real. You don't need to be seeing me. I'm just going to be interviewing Jenna. So guys, I'm Brittany Larson. I'm the host and creator of the Telearcgathering. This is a co-creation among all these fantastic healers, holistic people that have come here to assist you doing live streams so you can get your questions answered. So if you're watching this now, please make a comment so we know you're here and share this out. This is really powerful stuff. Now, Jenna, she's a shamanic intuitive, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit because people are asking me what a shaman is or what shamanic intuitive means. But I just want you to know a little bit about her. She's my northern neighbor from Canada because everyone knows I'm from Minnesota. And she's the creator of You Are the Manual. And she's the author of It's All Just a Big Misunderstanding, the 10 Ways to End Your Suffering and Make Life Make Sense. She runs an international business via online coaching, counseling, and her shamanic intuitive sessions. You know, she's got this retreat too. Don't you have a retreat coming up, Jenna?
I have a Peru retreat coming up. So that's a travel retreat. That's 12 days in Peru, April 27th, 2017. And I do live retreats in Canada as well.
Wow, that's where the shamanic part comes in because that's a side of the world where the shaman energy is. Wow, my birthday's the 26th. That would be a nice birthday present for myself.
Yeah. Come to Peru.
Yeah. Okay. So why I wanted to start on this page is so everyone who's registered, you can go to her page and get her free gift. She has a thank you gift. You're just going to click on the button here. You can also see why as the each speaker has the energy of an animal. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because it all so ties together with what Jenna does and who she is. And this is the interview we're going to talk about today. So if you're registered, make sure you go out there, grab the guide so you can walk through and take notes. Otherwise, you can watch this after the recording. There's the special offer we're going to talk about. That's totally awesome. Then you can find out a little bit more about Jenna by what her clients are saying. This is just a couple. I couldn't do pages and pages, so just about 4 or 5 of them. So Jenna, let's get a rockin' here. How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm good. I'm in New York. So I am from Canada, but I'm in New York for an event, the Mama Gina Womanly Arts Live event, and she's fantastic. So having a good time, but I wanted to pop on this interview that's important to me too. And I found a little nook somewhere. So if you hear noise, this is the Javits Center in New York. This is the little nook.
Well, and you won't hear any noise at my house probably because I'm in the woods unless, the deer runs into the window or something.
And that's my normal. I live right beside Lake Huron in Ontario, and I live right near the lake. So this is a big city. We
love lakes. Yeah, big city. I'm not a big city, and then I laugh because I lived in Dallas for like 15 years. Job opportunities, you better be really careful if you sell your house and move to Texas when you're from Minnesota to a big city. I was like, what am I doing? It's like, well, I sold my house. I guess I'm staying for a while. Good food, though, good people. So you want to give them a little bit of background on what a shamanic intuitive actually is?
Sure, yeah. So I use that term because a lot of my teachers have come just through my life path. I haven't sought them out. And one in particular, when I was doing chair massage, while I was doing a music degree at York University, I studied any type of healing thing because it was just natural for me. And I was doing chair massage at a music festival, and this man walks by and he looks at me, and like, it wasn't like a hey baby look, but there was something intense, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And it was his energy, and he was called to be a mentor of mine. So we did some energy work, and I had done Reiki before that, but the shamanic work was so bang on, powerful, yet relatable. Like you connect to spirit your direct connection. There's no, like, the shaman is a facilitator or an awakener, but they're not the source. You're the source. So you awaken to your source through shamanic work. So we did some work, and my life shifted and changed, and it was so tangible, even though it's intangible, that I was sold. And since then, I had shamanic mentors from Africa, Ireland. Obviously, I'm in Canada, and I haven't even really explored my Canadian roots. And then I went to Peru as well and studied with shamans there. So the what you get when you get shamanic intuitive is that it's just a way to bring a word people know, intuitive, that I can tune in, I can feel things without needing a lot of information. I can feel them.
Yeah, maybe we should change it to tune in so people get it, because they're like, I don't understand this intuitive thing.
They don't really? Oh, I thought that
you really are.
I thought that would be a word people would actually know. So fundamentally, a shaman is someone who could see in the dark and brings information from the spirit world to this physical reality for our interconnected betterment as humanity, for us to connect back to what was missing, which is the source of most people's suffering. Hence the book is their separation, is their sense of separation. And then all of these things, the insecurity, come from that initial separation from our knowingness of that connection.
So first of all, I believe everyone should have Reiki. Turn your grid on. Yeah, I'm really amazed at how many people, but you know what? I started off as a young child around Native Americans. That's my base, is the Native American and saging and medicine wheels, and really coming from that heart space. But you know, I'm feng shui, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when I met my Reiki master and grid worker down in Texas, she was like shocked that I hadn't had Reiki. Because if you study with what feng shui is all about, Lady Kuan Yin, she's like the queen of Reiki. And it really was a big aha to me about how we're missing pieces. Oopsie daisy. About how we're missing the pieces when in different spiritualities. That's one reason I wanted to do this, because you're not just one thing. I mean, how many things have you studied? You know, you just didn't study Reiki.
A lot.
You know, yeah, it's like, you know, what is your gifts? And I'm like, well, you know, how long do you have that I can go through it? And yeah, I know, you know, angels, ascended masters, frequency, vibration, you know, holographic repatterning, your grid. It's just like, once you get that bug, and that's really why I wanted to do these, so people can find the teachers they've been looking for but don't even know it. And especially on the information that they don't even know that they want to know, you know?
Yeah.
They just know they're missing something. And one thing that popped into me intuitively when you were telling that story was you were aware, you were in the now, and you took action. Yeah. When the shaman guide approached you, because I hear and see it often happen is they get these opportunities, like people pop on, like you right now, you're on this call, and it's like, why not take advantage, ask your questions, get clarification, and follow somebody? Yeah. So that, you know, for you to take the action, and when you don't take action, we know it's your ego. Oh, I don't know. I really think I should get in that program. I had a student call me last night. I go, well, you keep thinking about it. Does this, I read through it, sound good? Yeah, I would love all that. But, and I go, that's just your ego trying to keep you small and in a little box.
Yeah. Yeah. My rule of thumb is if it's insistent, consistent, persistent, pay attention. There's something there for you.
Jenna, you have just the best little sayings. I just like could bottle you up and take you around. She's always got these cute little things. I love that.
People need little tangible bites of this stuff that you can't go on huge diatribes.
And no, guys, I am not ignoring her on my phone. I am actually on her page so I can follow through. Because it's like I have a live stream going over here, we're recording over here, and I want to be able to make sure to ask her good questions. And I really just go intuitively with you, to be honest. If it's a subject I know nothing about, then I might like have something in front of me. I just want to make sure we cover everything that you want to cover. So in this interview, we're going to delve deep down into You Are the Manual. I'm excited about this because this is like some top tips she's going to share with you on the manual, which You Are the Manual, which is all about your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit, and your integration center. And people don't talk about the integration center, do they, Jenna? That's why people are not understanding how to put the pieces together and why things aren't working out.
Mm-hmm. And that includes,
ask your questions. She's here, and we will stop and we will live stream, you know, your questions out. Maybe everybody's on a march today, but That's all
Maybe.
right. Jenna, maybe you're going to want to do this. A couple of the speakers, what we decided to do is the last week, the second week of February, is if you go out and comment and ask questions, we're going to do random drawings and you get to do some live with us, just like
That
here on
works.
the screen. Would you be interested in doing something like that?
Yeah, sure.
She has time. You know, she's flying around the world, Pete. Okay, so let's jump right in then and talk about, you know, you're going to take them through some exercises and stuff like that. So let's just jump right into the interview. Take it away. And when I get my ask a question, then I will.
Okay, so I will start with a little bit about me because people need to know, right? So my background covers psychotherapy training and the intuition energy stuff. So studied Reiki from the age of 16. I had chronic pain and I just knew the typical medical model. I think that's a lot of people's story. But I was really young. I was 16 and I just followed, as I said. And then I met that shamanic mentor in my early 20s. So I have that psychotherapy background and it's more tangible, more not tangible. Well, yeah, it's more tangible. Like it's like psychotherapy. It's a psychotherapist. People understand what that is. They can kind of get on board with that. And recently studied a type of coaching called ontological coaching. So ontology is the study of human beings and their relationship to reality. So that is,
There's another big word she's using, ontological.
Yeah, so it's the study of being. So
wow.
Philosophers looking at like our nature of human beings, our actual beingness. So the type of coaching is meant to delve into where we're not in alignment, where we're being inauthentic, the masks we had to construct in order to stay safe, in order to survive in our life. And that could be being funny, that could be being stoic and strong and standoffish. And in the culmination of all of these types of things, this is hilarious. This is the guy's like, this is the quietest place for you to go. And it has been very loud. I apologize.
No, it's totally cool, girlfriend. So we give you guys permission to get your information out in the world in any way you can.
Yeah, just find a nook and
New York, basically.
hop on your phone. So that's a little bit about me. And then with all of my training, I needed to take a break and just go, who am I? What am I serving with? What's coming through me? And, you know, as a coach, so my coach trainer, he was a coach. So, and then I had the shamanic stuff, and then I had the psychotherapy. So I eventually came up with You Are the Manual, and it was a flash of insight title because the shamanism especially was like, you can find spirit anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And, that really appealed to me because going to the Hay House conferences, if anyone knows Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, Wayne Dyer, the Hay House conferences would be all the authors, and people would be very hungry for what the author has, and they would see they had it and they didn't. And my passion was to ignite that, no, you have it, and let's educate so that you can connect to it yourself. And so You're the Manual strategically developed to change you from a seeker to a finder and tune in. And people don't want to. They want me to have the answers. So, Jenna, what's happening? I'm like, well, have you journaled? Have you done heart breathing? And we're going to do heart breathing today for all of you. It's one of my favorite exercises to do. It's so simple.
I want to talk quickly about journaling because I have found especially like the students of mine that have like are hoarders or clutter people, they will not journal. And I explain to them, because I'm also a gateway dream teacher, how powerful it is when you journal. Whether you're journaling your dreams or things that happen, you go back and it's a story, and then you can see it from up here instead of, we try to do everything from our little minds right now, right where we're at, and there's when you can step away and see it. So
well, let me actually give him
so powerful.
Yeah. So this is something human beings need to understand something before they do it, and they don't understand journaling, and they don't like being told what to do either that much. So this is how I explain it. So I have a pen. So here's a pen. Here's my hand. So when you're stuck in your head, which most people are, So if you feel like there's a problem you can't solve, if you have incessant thoughts, if it feels like like there's no space in your brain, I do an exercise called brain dumping, which it's so many people are perfectionists too. You just write pen to paper, write, and you're going to have all that stuff in your head, get it on to the paper. And the technology of that is it goes from your head and it has to go down into your body. You have to slow down and write. And sometimes you can write really fast and you could like be all angry if you're angry and you feel free to do that. You can rip the page. It doesn't matter. It's about clearing space. And you were saying about the stories and everything, but the brain dump isn't meant for you to go over and find, it's just to get it out. And even Julia Cameron has a book called The Artist's Way, very, very popular book and very highly recommended book actually. And she does something called morning pages to clear up writers. And it's meant to dump the crap out of your head. You brush your teeth, you clean your clothes. It's just a way to out of your head. And then there's space for fresh new information. So journaling is multifaceted in that my recommendation is to do the brain dumps.
I'm great at brain dumps and I didn't even know what I was doing, but I get these like huge downloads and I have whiteboards all over the place because I just grab it and I get them out. And my nephew was staying with me once and he woke up and my windows were full of stuff because it kept flowing and my whiteboards were full. And I literally created programs out of the brain dumps when I went back and looked at them.
So I would call that inspired writing. A brain dump in this case is like the garbage can. It's like pen to paper, get I hate my thighs. My boyfriend didn't get me flowers. Oh, this is stupid. Why am I writing? La, 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 la. My life's never going to get better.
Everything that's bugging you, whatever it is, because otherwise it's the gerbil in your mind.
Yes. So get your brain on paper. And what you experienced was an inspired download, as people say download, but for people who don't know what that terminology means, it's just like fresh creative information. This is what composers, poets, musicians, artists, that same inspiration that creates a painting can come through you. We're not separate. We all have access to that and it comes through us uniquely for us. So that meant that you had enough space for it to come through, right? So for most people, their brains and their emotions, and hence the Year of the Manual program.
I had an empty brain.
Go figure. It's a good goal.
Well, and the great thing is when I look back at it as we're talking, it was in my creativity area in my house. And I was just going because I was in the flow,
Yes.
I went with the information and I always feel it's hand, heart. It goes through your heart. That's how I
forgot that part too. It does come through your heart. Your hand is an extension of your heart chakra. I never know where people are is when I do interviews. I try not to use too much jargon because they might not know what that means, right? So like your heart center is your emotional center. We process emotions there, but it's also our love center, our connection center, like where we feel interconnected with other human beings. So it's a vibrational magnetic center. And when we can tune these two parts of ourselves, so head, heart, and integrate those, that helps you shift your life too. So through the journaling, you're coming through that center out your hand, slowing down, and then witnessing, you can shift your perception and interrupt the pattern, which is what you want to look for. And as you interrupt the pattern, you might think, oh, I have to do this all the time. And why isn't this problem gone yet? And I've been working so hard on it. Just keep going. Just keep going because you're interrupting the pattern. You're creating a new thing. If you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 90, that's how many years you've been used to being you. So if you start doing this work now, people like me are here because you're going to get disheartened. You're going to be like, this doesn't work and I suck.
Yeah. Life is not perfect. It is definitely a school, people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to suck. Like you're going to have stuff come up that's meant to come up, that's supposed to be cleared for the vision that you have for your future. And if you don't know what your vision is for your future, then that's kind of the first step. It's like, who are you? What do you really want? What's authentic to you? But kind of going off on a tangent now.
But I really find that it's meant to be talked about because I'm feeling that too. And I'm hearing that is there's a lot of people have no idea what they're supposed to do. Holy buckets. Who is here? I've had wild stuff happen in the last, and we had orbs zipping all over the place, and now there's some loud talking going on. Okay, so I think that that's meant to be talked about. Okay, yes, it is. There's a lot of people who have no idea what they're meant to do, and that's where they're disheartened. That's where they're getting their frustration from.
Yeah.
What advice do you have on that? You know, mine is like, the first thing is, you know what you don't want, so that helps you kind of figure out what you do want. And then what do you love to do that you can talk about all the time and not get paid for? You get paid for it. That's your money.
It's gonna be loud again. Sorry.
Hello, everyone.
I think I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move.
Next live stream I'll do from the lake in the summertime, because then you can hear the loons and the birds and the boats.
Yeah, well, at my place in Canada, it's usually not this.
You can't work from anywhere. I did
going with the flow. Okay, so finding your purpose is the first thing is usually something I say is your pain creates, it's like your purpose boot camp. So, and also, so that's one aspect. The other one is like when you're swimming in your own water, you don't notice. So what you get feedback from the rest of the world, like you're a good listener. Wow, you come up with great creative ideas. Listen to people, unless they're, saying that you suck and all that kind of stuff, then maybe not so much. But people will see you better than you can see yourself often. So pay attention to things that you're naturally in ease with, and then we have to break through that paradigm that it has to be hard and you have to work hard and you have to get a training in order to do something. The other thing is your life purpose isn't always your career. So it could be a way of being. So if you're a mother, the way of being could be love, or it could be nurturing. And that is a purpose. And so we don't qualify ourselves and we see ourselves, oh, Jenna's a coach and she's traveling all over the world. She has a purpose. I don't have a purpose. Well, you do have a purpose. And our way of being, like who you're being in the world is often overlooked. But I think it's the most important, because you could be a doctor, but you're just in it for the money, and who you're being isn't that helpful. Like maybe you're even healing people, but who you're being is a disconnect. Whereas you could be, I'm looking at a janitor sign right now. You could be a janitor and be being love, and people that you encounter are feeling that. So as much as we judge ourselves what you should be doing, that's something to consider too, is where are you judging these aspects of what purpose should be. It doesn't always mean being an inspirational coach. It doesn't mean all of these grand things. Being a writer, maybe if it calls to you, I want to be a writer, I see myself, like you feel like a stirring in you almost when you see that. That's when you know it's like there's like an ache in you that's wanting to fulfill something. That's evidence too. And that's also another time you want to journal, like, oh, like right now I'm at Mama Gina's event and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Like, love her event, love the experience, love the energy. I want to create a little universe where people can come and feel okay as they are, and that they're good enough, and then tune into their purpose and all of this good stuff. And so that's inspired me. I don't see myself as separate than her. She's got this huge company and amazing success, and I just need to do what's in front of me. And so that's the other thing, is just do what's in front of you. Don't get so overwhelmed with the big picture. Have your vision and do what's in front of you.
And you are unique. It's like, I love what you said, because you're loving that lady, but you're very powerful. You're just unique in your own way. It's good to model people, but not copy people. And that's what I find people do, is they find someone they like and they're like, oh, they're kind of like me. And they try to be that person. And it's like, but that's not you.
Gonna work. No, people want the authenticity. They want to see you. And that Brene Brown rose to stardom because people needed to hear that conversation about shame. And she wrote a few books about shame, and she was on Oprah, and it was just about vulnerability and our fear of being seen. And when in fact, that's the exact thing that's going to have you receive being seen, the thing that you want, to be acknowledged and seen and heard. And that's the conundrum. So she writes a lot of great stuff about that.
I'm just zipping around checking, because I have this live streaming in like 30 pages and groups. And this is my dad's iPad or my mom's iPad. And I'm getting a couple comments. I have to zip around and find it, but it says, and I tested beforehand so that we could get live because you and I really like live.
Mm-hmm.
She says, it says attachment unavailable. Now, I do have people that are very non-technical as my students, but why I do live stream on Facebook is so we want everyone to get the information and so that they can participate and get their questions answered. So
is there a question?
I don't know. I'm checking. She's leaving me messages in different places that says it says your attachment's unavailable, and I'm like, there is no attachment because I did a live stream and said we're live streaming in 15 to make sure it worked. It worked great. So you keep talking. I'm not ignoring you, and I am listening. I just want to make sure if they have questions and to find out what's going on. But guys, there is never a mistake. So that means if this isn't working where people are live stream questioning us right now, then that means Jenna is meant to do some live stuff. And maybe
why don't I just launch it to a bit of like a class, and then the people who are listening to the replay will get some value and content?
Let's do that. And I'm going to go through and keep seeing if I find what's going on here.
If you see one, just flag it. And then what I'll do is I'll talk about some immediate takeaways from each quadrant.
You do that, and I'm going to download Messenger on this iPad because they're sending me messages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So why don't you just save those ones, and then I'll so whoever's listening to the replay that they can.
Well, and make sure, guys, you go to facebook.com/telearcgathering and put your comments and your questions in there, and we're going to do drawings and get you on live with these people like this. This screen right here, if you get picked, if you're a person who's active and showing up for these, we're going to draw you, and they're not going to be long sessions. You might get picked.
But they'll get one-on-one work, So
okay, so take it away, Jenna. I'm not ignoring you.
Okay. Well, that's why I said, why don't I just go do a class more than an interview, and then with the replay people. I'm just laughing at the fact that he's like, go over here. This will be quiet.
There's a chick in the corner.
Okay. So You Are the Manual is the program. I'm offering it at a discounted rate at the end of the class, but I want to give you, if you don't have the money or it isn't something you're called to, I at least want to give you the top tips from each quadrant. So let's start with the mind, because that's where most people start. So the mind intelligence system is misunderstood because it's just your left cognitive brain. So it's this one part of your brain that's aware that you're listening to me, that I'm aware that I'm holding up my phone and I'm talking to you. That's your cognitive brain. It likes to understand things. It likes to compartmentalize things. It judges things. Its job is to judge things. So here I am sitting here. My mind has to go, is that safe? Or am I in the middle of the freeway? Important things. So the mind is phenomenal. The problem is we have used our mind for everything when we have all these other intelligence systems. And that's what I found. It's so if you think of like a 9-year-old being the president of the United States, they're going to be really overwhelmed. So here you've got one part of you. Yeah.
Really overwhelmed. It's like, what?
Well, yeah. So it's too much, right? So we're putting too much pressure on our cognitive brain to like figure out our life path or process our deep feelings. And it's never been meant to do that, ever. So this left cognitive brain will know past events, will know past information. It will know familial, like family stories. So it's like, marry this person. You can make this much money. So that's where beliefs come from. You'll hear a lot of coaches talk about beliefs and mindset. I go deeper than mindset into your being set would be more what I do. Mm-hmm. And so that's more the culmination of your thoughts, emotions, feelings, actions are who you're being. Back to the mind. My top exercises for the mind are journaling. And the other one is a meditation that's quite quick, and you guys can do it with me. Even if you're driving, it's actually quite easy. So you can be driving and have one aspect of your mind, that's that imagination part, active in the exercise. So it's simple as this. However many thoughts are going on in your mind, you close them like tabs. So if you go, oh, good laundry, pick up the kids at 4, close the tab. And you can just close the tabs. the reason people don't want an empty mind is on some level they're afraid they won't get shit done. Can I say shit? I don't know. Okay. So
no, you cannot.
They're afraid that they're going to be Eckhart Tolle sitting on a bench, blissed out and not doing anything and not meeting their responsibilities. And if people don't know, Eckhart Tolle wrote The Power of Now, and he sat on a bench for a while because he was so blissed out. So people need to have the skills to still pick up kids from soccer and run their business, and maybe they're taking care of their parents, like whatever it is that they're up to, they need their mind to be sharp. So closing the tabs, like a computer, when you have too many tabs open, what happens? Slows down.
Slows way down.
That's what happens to your brain. So because our brain is more electric that way, like even if you think when your brain's really busy, it's like ping ponging, like zing, 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 zing. There's like a counter for every thought. It's like, I should go to the gym, but I kind of don't want to, but I kind of want to sit here. Oh, but I'm kind of tired. I should do laundry, but like that's the mind. It's like, there's always a counter for everything. I should go with this guy, or maybe I shouldn't go with this guy. Maybe this, like, or if I don't, I'm going to be single and then I'll be a loser. Like that's the mind isn't bad. It's misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And when we just believe all of these random thoughts, that's when we get stressed out, and that's when problems can happen. So for the mind, that's the exercise, is the brain dump, clear the mind, the closing the tabs. So if you're not good at meditation because you think it's something that you can't do, try closing the tabs. It's a very easy exercise, and most people can do it. And even if you can't see them in your mind, just do them in your intention. And just notice how you feel. Maybe you sigh, or maybe you just are like, oh, and then there's space. And start to learn to be okay with space. Because again, if we're not busy and if we're not full of things to do, we feel like we're not getting stuff done either. And that's the farthest from the truth. I get more done from being in space.
You know, Jenna, I'm a very active person doing a lot of things. I accomplish a lot. It's my DNA. It's who I am. I'm an ox and a Taurus. I actually have 4 ox in my chart. So I plow through obstacles. And what I work on to this day still, is my master has me work on it, is that it's okay to not always be doing something. Like, don't feel guilty when you go for a walk out in the woods. I have found as soon as I go and reset, I come back and I work half as much as I used to, and I accomplish twice as much as I used to.
Yep.
So it's also being gentle with yourself. Like, I'd be sick and I'm like, oh, I got to get up. I've got to work. And it's like, no, you need to sleep. Your body's telling you it needs to recuperate, or it needs to recharge itself. So
and that's because we don't acknowledge our body intelligence system. So that's on the second module. That's the body. So I'll talk about the body. So the body is an intelligence system. It isn't just this meat suit that we drag around. Like, there's actual energetic intelligence. And it's also a map of our subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of talk about your subconscious mind. It's simply the part of your mind that you're not fully conscious of all the time. And so we have a nervous system, and all this stuff is working automatically with us. And that is subconscious mind as well. So, and mapping at the subconscious mind is information. It's information that isn't from our cognitive mind. So if my, let's see, I'm going to do a little body scan. Let's do this with everybody. So I'm going to do a body scan, body check-in. And what you do is you just first I come aware of my breath. And then I tend to feel the muscles in my forehead and my jaw, and the back of my head, the back of my skull release. And then I find I can kind of sink into my body and I can feel it more. My perception is quite different now. I'm very aware of my feet, my legs, my pelvis and I could feel the floor underneath me. And I like to tune into my spine, even if you don't know where that is, to have a sense of that center bone structure that's lifting you up. And it's also holding your nervous system. It's holding all of that amazing electronic system that's keeping you doing what you do, alive. It's quite magnificent. So when you tune into your body, there's all of this brilliance available to you. And when I just did that, that's what I was just kind of tuning in. My right shoulder's a bit tight. So I'm going to see if there's information there for me. Now, if anybody is live there. They can also tune in if they want some one-on-one work. It's my shoulder and my brain. So what happens with the body is that it speaks in sensations. It could be images. It could be, you could hear a song. So I'm feeling some tension in my throat, some tension in my right shoulder. Mind you, I just flew and I'm staying in a new place. So it feels like it's just a bit of, I'm tired and maybe a little stressed. There is a message for me, and the message is to take in this event that I'm going to pop back into after this interview, to unclench and to be vulnerable and to take part, and not be Jenna the coach. So it's a little bit of like, okay, just like release and relax into this experience. So there's information in our body, and most people would be like, oh, my shoulder's tight, and take a Tylenol, or be mad at it.
I know.
And sometimes I have to do that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, right, I have this headache. But go back at the end of the day and tune in. What's this about? It could be your body intelligence could just be telling you what you nutritionally need. You're dehydrated. Emotionally, it could be like, oh, you're like some headaches are usually stress that you can't get out of. It's like a vice on your head. It's like like you have to let go more to get some information.
Sometimes it's common sense. Like I knew this girl and she always was getting headaches and she was wearing her ponytail too tight. And then
there's that.
And then somebody was drinking coffee all the time and they wouldn't eat and they couldn't figure out why they had headaches. And I'm just like, really? So
sometimes you have to baby steps.
But your body's telling you. It's a system. There is no that it's going to just have a pain for no reason.
No, there's usually, it's either physical, mental, emotional, sometimes spiritual. Sometimes I'll have, recently the more I go down my own path, I get this tension in the back of my skull. And I can differentiate that from normal muscle tension. But again, people, this is like far down the road. Not everyone's going to be a spiritual teacher, but I could feel that tension. And I know that's like spiritual information that's right, just working its way through my physicality. So I might go, so then instead of just going, oh, I'm in pain, I might ask it, what can I do to make this more graceful?
So anytime you feel pain, breathe and at least ask, try to calm yourself down to ask what it is, because there might be a message for you or there might not. But if you're not going to slow down to get the message.
Yeah. And it's so easy. It's like, oh, what could I do? What do I need to do? Or what do you need? It's kind of like talking to a kid. Like a kid is yanking on your shirt and it's like, well, what do you need?
What do you want?
I'm just bored. They might be just like, I'm just bored, or I want to go to the bathroom, or, so it's amazing how many people don't go to the bathroom either. They only know to go to the bathroom because someone says it's bathroom time. And so we're so disconnected from our bodies. It's been very strategic with our society. However, you could do both. I can be at this event and go to the bathroom.
Is there also all this disconnection? Like when I woke up yesterday, I'm like, why do I feel this way? Was really, my solar plexus were tight. I was real nervous and I felt just out of alignment. And I know I was picking up the collective because the second I did my prayers, put my shields up and breathed through it, it was like, oh, there's a lot going on in the universe. So sometimes it isn't always even our stuff, that there's so much, like we know what's going on in the world right now. We don't even need to really bring it up or talk about it. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of anger. Well, guess what, guys? It's going to impact you, especially who you hang out with. That's why I'm big on who you surround yourself with. That's what your life is going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, the information coming at us energetically is also dependent on our path. So there's a lot of people that aren't affected. That they might be a bit irritable, but they aren't in that introspective path. But if you're more intuitive, if you're more empathic, if you feel things deeply, to differentiate your feelings requires the meditation, the tuning in, the file closing, because as you're tuned in, that's what I call center. Your center is just that, like, I'm it's actually more neutral than anything. It isn't your heart center necessarily, because a lot of people get confused with this stuff. So I just say center. It's this neutral space where you have both left brain, right brain, body, mind, heart, spirit. And then there's this neutral center. It isn't good or bad. It isn't even necessarily love. It's neutral. From that place, you can differentiate, oh, this is just like the other people, or I'm on my period, or it's like, okay, nothing to do. You're good. Or just move through it. It's okay. You don't have to be happy to be happy. Like, you don't have to be completely pain-free. You don't have to be like, I'm exhausted. I was traveling and then I stayed up to get that website done, and okay, whatever. It's like people have this sense of what it looks like to get there, and it's peaceful, and your body's perfect yogi body, and like, you know, and then that's success. And it's like, well, to navigate this world is going to be ups and downs and good and bads, and high energy, low energy, and that's nature, that's rhythm. So a good part of shamanic work is that I don't even say that. That's really funny. Is nature. And nature is, I talk a lot about in the spirit module, because our connection to nature and creator is very organic if you just get into nature. And the deepening retreat, what we were talking about that I do, is in nature, and it's meant to facilitate your reconnection to what was always there. If you walk in the park, all of that nature that's part of you, it's like kind of inviting you back. Like, hey, it's okay. You're alive. Calm down. Naturally, without doing.
That's my big calm down. And guys, that is meditation right there. That's walking meditation. Yeah. Just to sit and stare at a lake. Like when I would get upset and I'd be in the cities and I'd get in an argument with my sister or something, I would go directly to the park and sit right next to the stream and just close my eyes and breathe and listen to the water run. And then a few minutes later, I'm like, whatever, that's her issue. She ain't bugging me no more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So nature, doesn't everyone should get nature because we're animals? I have some people go, oh no, I don't want to go outside. And then I'm kind of like, well, maybe you have an issue then, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I have two people that's like will not go outside in nature, and they're like, no, and I'm like, that seems really weird to me because I could live under a tree. Yeah,
well, for people like that, it could be as simple as looking up at the sky from where they are, and starting where you are is very important too. So even though whatever is keeping them from going out there, or finding what works for them. So maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but mostly it does. Mostly it does, because we are from the earth, literally.
Right.
The stuff we're made of is from the earth, and the air we're breathing is from the trees. We're part of nature. So I just want to talk about the heart center because it's 1243, and do some heart breathing. So I know people are going to re-listen. So if everyone's just chilling on their Saturday, we'll just teach you some stuff anyways. So heart breathing is something that I intuitively made up because it's simple. So I just put a hand on my heart center, which is simply that area in your chest. If you're a girl, it's between your boobies. If you're a man, it's between your pecs. And even right now, I can feel a shift in my energy. And for you, it just might mean you're just more aware of that space where your hand is, and both is fine, because as you practice this, you start to tune into this heart center. Again, this is the space of emotions. So most people don't tune into their heart center because there might be some old grief, there might be a hurt thing in their past, and it's stuck there. So when they go there, it's hurt. It doesn't feel good. So they're like, I don't want to go there. But if you allow all of those emotions to digest, because they don't digest in your brain, you process emotions in your body and your heart.
Right.
But people will feel pain, go up into their head and go, I don't want to feel that pain, and then move on. And so you've got luggage upon luggage upon luggage of undigested emotional stuff that can digest if you let it digest. It's like if you have a cut and you pick the scab, you're just never letting the body do what it knows how to do. So I trust that my body knows how to heal that cut.
Right.
Or there was one time I sprained my ankle and I was like, I wonder if I'll ever walk again the same way. You get really scared.
Yeah. It's fear. You're right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen to my ankle? And it was completely just, it was still hurt. And I was still walking with a limp. And I thought, oh, people do that with their emotional healing. So they don't go into their heart center. So this heart breathing, so I'll go back up to it. Okay, heart breathing. So, so you just, this is the instructions. Place your hand on your heart center. 1. 2 is feel the space under your hand. That's it. Feel the space under your hand. Breathe. And feel the space under your hand or beneath your hand. And feel the space between the front of your chest and your back shoulder blades. Oh, someone's going to the kitchen. So that's the exercise.
You guys, I believe in laughter. Anyone that follows me, my students know we laugh all the time because that's just life, guys.
I gotta actually go over here for the rest of this because
my students, we do a color breathing meditation with our chakras because I teach chakra feng shui classes, and where a lot of them stop or check out because during the meditation, if you just suddenly go, oh my gosh, I was in the throat chakra, and the next thing I knew you were on the solar plexus. That tells us a lot. That tells us that you're skipping over, and it could mean physical heart issues, but it could mean you're not connected as above, so below. I mean, there's a lot, but it gives you information, just like when she's talking about journaling, when you do these breathing exercises. So even if you just breathe in and out of your heart, and if, you know, what do you feel? What color do you see? I mean, there's many ways to, like, look, she just had you put your hand on your heart, close your eyes, breathe, feel the front and the back where your heart chakra is, or your heart center is, if you want to call it that.
And you doesn't even have to be any of that.
Jenna, that everything is so difficult. It's difficult to meditate. It's difficult to do stuff, and it's simple.
And that's why even after everything you said, which is really great, I like to simplify it to not even think about any of that stuff. Don't even think about, like, if the color comes up, cool, but just breathe and feel the space in your hand. And that's it. And because so many people add all this stuff, they don't do it. They overwhelm themselves and then they stop. So my objective in these teachings is to make it so simple that you could take a moment in the bathroom and breathe and feel the space into your heart. Or you could have your eyes open and just start to do it with your mind.
So you're at an event and you're stressed out, you have to get on stage, just breathe, put your hand on your heart and breathe. That's what she's saying.
That's it.
I wasn't trying to make it difficult. I was trying to make it
you were, but a lot of people, what's great is that there are going to be a lot of people that think that way too, but there's a whole other camp of people that it's just so overwhelming, all of this information. And
that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people is like, they're so overwhelmed, like, okay, breathe 3 times like this here. Okay, hold it for count of 3. And I am a person, I'm like, I just want to go with the flow. Like, I'll just go sit under a tree or listen to water because that works for me. And it's simple. There's no rules. Like, I have to be in my head. Okay, where am I at? What color am I supposed to see?
But most people need their head to get them. It's like the gateway. They need their head to go, oh, I understand. Okay, I'm going to do this. And that through all of my one-on-one work, that's what I realized needed. There's a missing gap of practical meets intuitive, that there's at least some instruction. Feel the space under your hand. Well, what about blah, blah? No, just feel the space under your hand. And when you tune into your heart center, it does it for you. And that's the other thing people don't get is you do a bit of doing and then your heart center gets activated, becomes coherent with your brain. Again, you don't have to know what any of this means. It just works. It just works.
Just breathe, which is automatic.
But tuning into the heart center versus our mind.
People are too tough on themselves.
Yes.
Way too tough on themselves, you know, and that's why I think God put me here to do live streams, because it's like, I stopped wearing makeup for 2 reasons. One is I live in the country and I'd be going outside to mow the lawn, and I'm really not a makeup girl. I've never really liked it. I've had corporate jobs, but it was somebody I was being that really it wasn't authentic to me, and I felt it. And it was like it would get me off, you know, when during the calls, like, well, you look okay, but that's not you. You know, so it's like, to me, really be you. And like, okay, so what's ever going on with Facebook live streaming right now, I can't stress about it because there's nothing I can do about it, and it's not my fault. It does make me feel a little bad because I know there's people by the messages I'm getting that wanted to show up on the call, but that's okay. We'll just handle it and figure it out later. So that's kind of how I look at life. I give you permission to not wear makeup, to make mistakes, to have things not be perfect, because life isn't perfect. And when you think it is, then it's going to throw a wrench at you and you're going to go, oh, okay. Okay, so we breathe, and I'm calm, and I'm connected.
Well, actually, and secondly, you don't have to be calm.
Oh.
You might not be calm. Like, I mean, you might breathe and feel the space under your hand, and you might feel stress. So the idea is to be able to do these things in the flow of life. You might be tired, you might be stressed, so you might not even get calm. You might be more angry because actually the emotion you're feeling is anger.
Because what if somebody was doing this and I went to brought that up and they're like, I'm so damn mad, this ain't working. It's like, that's okay.
It might not be calm. Yeah, you might be like, I'm really angry at my boss for yelling at me 2 weeks ago, and it's still in there. So, you know, whatever it is, I don't know, like my boyfriend forgets stuff all the time. It's actually even funny now. And so I've stopped
when you can shift it from anger to laughter, it's like, whatever. Nothing.
Yeah, because it's not malicious. It's now my responsibility to message him if I actually want something done.
Yes, it's not anyone's responsibility. You can't get mad at someone if they told you to wake them up and you didn't wake them up. You're responsible for yourself, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So we were going to do a little activation and get an intuitive message for the group. Are you ready to do that with our 7 minutes left? We honor the time. And Jenna, I want to thank you because you've shown up. You've got the information in. I haven't had to worry about you at all. You're very professional. So not only is she awesome in her healing, she's very professional in a calm, casual way. No, I think that's important.
Thank you.
That tells me how you coach. That tells me that when people get in your special offer, you're going to do what you say you're going to do, and you're going to show up. I've interviewed over 300 people. So I really can pick up on when people get stuff in or if they honor time. You guys, Jenna's right on the money. She loves what she does, but she stayed up last night and did stuff because she wanted to go fly around and hang out in New York today, but she did it. So I wanted to thank you for that, because right away, when I knew you were showing up, I slept really good. I would have slept good anyway, because it's like if she wouldn't have shown up, I would have showed up and said, well, we'll do this later. But Jenna, I knew she was showing up. That tells me what kind of coach she is, that she really cares about you, and she's going to do exactly what she says and probably deliver way beyond that.
Thank you.
So thank you, Jenna. It's important.
Thank you. It actually is important, because part of healing is feeling safe.
Yes.
And if you can't rely on somebody, you won't feel safe. And even if you're like, it's okay,
it's not in the back of your mind, is it?
It's not okay. And I learned that the hard way in some cases. And, I was new and young, but how important it is to create a space of reliability. And even if I'm not reliable, to call them immediately and say, I'm
Guess
sorry.
What? It doesn't cost any money to keep your word. It doesn't cost any money to be on time. It doesn't cost any money to be prepared. So these are just things to me that tell me what kind of individual and human you are.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you very much that I didn't get something at 4 a.m. and go create your sales page. It's happened. I had it happen an hour before a call, and I'm like, how can I go into the call? I'm doing code.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I knew I needed to, my goal was 3 days before, but I got it in. So because I have to go at 1, you know what? I'm going to record something.
Okay.
And send it. You can pop it on there as an audio, because I need to be a bit more centered, because there isn't anybody physically for me to tune into. So I want to be very aware of this Women's March Day, and I'm at this women's event with Mama Gina, and I'm just like, there's something there that I want to capture that I can't do right now to its best of ability.
How about if like later on, like maybe next week, the week after, or, you know, I know you have a lot of stuff going on, or like I said, that replay week where I'm going to replay people, why don't we grab them and put them on Zoom with us? And we can, you know, I can shut cameras off. I might start doing that because people are showing up and still do the Facebook Live, because I love interaction and I think it's so powerful. And this group of speakers wanted to do live. They want to help you. And I know, Jenna, you were big on it. So that's maybe just a way that, you know, the universe is guiding me, because I'm out there now what's going on? I did a test, it worked fine, and now I'm getting all these messages, and I'm trying to focus because I really love what she does. You know, I could talk to Jenna all day. She's really awesome. I get shifts just from talking to you. I get, you know, little, oh, wow, yeah, I didn't think about that all the time. So she's really an awesome, powerful person. I want you guys to be able to experience that. So yeah, let's just go with that. Now, for those of you, if you haven't registered and you want to get, they all have gifts, beautiful gifts. That's 9 speakers of gifts, and you get bonuses. And I send you emails with links and the replay so you know when they're up. And I put them in several places, Jenna, so there's no excuse. But they're on Facebook, they're on YouTube, I've got them on your speaker page, they're on a replay page, because I'm about getting the information out. I'm doing things a little different. Most people close it down in 48 hours. Well, that didn't work for me, because in my mind, I'm like, well, if we're supposed to get the information out, people are busy, and then you don't want to tell them you have to buy these bundles. That's not what it's about. Of course, we want you to get the bundles and use this forever. Yeah. But to me, it's getting the information out. So this is up all over the place, and when you sign up, you just go to telearcgathering.com.
Yes, very easy.
I think it's backwards when I do it like that.
No, I saw it fine.
Was it right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then where's this one? There we go. telearcgathering.com. And if you want to go directly to Jenna's page, it's /Jenna, Jenna. And you can go through that whole page. If you're a texter, if you just want to text opt in, you'll get an email with the links, guys. So it's 1-678-506-7543, code Tele2.
All right. So before,
I'm making it simple.
In the last little bit, I'll just let people know what they're actually getting so the free gift is a tool I use with all my clients called the Wellbeing Checklist, and you also get a booklet. So that is when you just opt in as the free thank you. So that's going to be yours for free. And if you want more information from me on a regular basis, then just let me know and I'll keep you on my list.
This is where you're going to go. You're going to click on, you can listen to this little message, and then you click here and bingo, bingo, fill it in. You get a free gift.
Exactly. And then the actual program is a live program. I just did you're getting 5 90-minute calls of all of this information. So people have been re-listening, and there's activations on all of those 5 calls as well. Plus, people who are in the telearc gathering, I'm going to offer within a 1 month's time. So I'll give you a month to kind of get into the materials and listen to some of the calls. In 1 month's time, we'll do a Q&A call live again for live coaching. If you have questions, if you have stuck points, because I want you to use the information. I don't just want to sell stuff. I want to have you get it. So for you guys listening, for everyone on the telearc gathering community, you're going to get those calls included in this offer. So the offer itself is like, you're saving a lot.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm really amazed at how awesome and generous you have been and other speakers, because I work with these people and I'm getting shifts constantly and movement constantly, and that's just me talking to them. And then I look at their programs, I'm like, maybe I gotta ask Jenna, is this right? For all of that, for $97, that just can't be. Really? I mean, 5 90-minute recordings right there. But I mean, Jenna, she gets investments of $200 for a 90-minute session, in which I was going to tell you that should be $400, by the way.
It will be going up. That's what it is right now, but it's a good time to get in now because as I over this year, so you guys know, I'm upgrading my brand and changing a lot up, and my prices will double. So right now it's a good time because I'm just chilling. I don't have a staff. I don't have a bunch of tech stuff I have to pay for with my business. So I can offer this in good faith, and I want to get the information out there. So it just feels right. So I tune in and listen.
Did I get the information properly? You're actually going to do a one-on-one laser coaching call with each student that gets in this program?
They're going to do a call.
Okay.
So yeah, the one-on-one is based on so we're going to do a group call. So they'll get one-on-one individual attention.
Gotcha.
In the call. Yeah.
Well, I love it when you do it like that because everyone in the group learns and grows and has shifts. If somebody has a question, everybody has a question.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have honored the time. She needs to get going.
Yes.
Jenna, thank you so much for showing up in your busy schedule. And I really appreciate all the information. Sorry that we didn't have a bunch of live people, but I really think that that's okay. I'm going to figure out, I'm going to technical Facebook. I'm kind of the spiritual geek in Facebook. So I'm going to go contact them and see what's going on.
Sure. Well, it's been great, Brenny. I'm glad that we met through, Squad's promo posse. So I'm glad we were brought together, and I'm happy to talk to your community. So anyone who's listening to the replay, I appreciate you. And if you have any questions, then please feel free to reach out. And if you get the offer, again, you'll be included in those calls. So you'll get more time with me.
Go out and comment under this video as soon as it's on Facebook, because we are going to be randomly drawing those. We'll just let it be intuitive. Thanks, Jenna. You have a super, super fun weekend. And remember, don't be the coach this weekend. Just have fun and suck up all the information.
Thanks, Brenny.
Bye,
guys.